All right, hello there, kids. This is your old buddy, Miss Conrad. For those of you that don't know me, it is nice to meet you. We're going to do some notes on the Enlightenment together. So first things first, please take your blank piece of paper and fold ski in half like that. And then we're going to fold it into thirds. Now, if yours isn't, sorry, there's a dump truck, a garbage truck in the background. If yours isn't perfect, you don't want to freak out about it. Just see, mine's not perfect and it's going to work just fine. Not the time to be a perfectionist. Okay, on this front, on one side, what I need you to do, and just on one side, please just quickly make some dividing lines like so. And we're going to start out by looking at what government was like before the Enlightenment. So in this top left box, please write before ... And you probably already know this, but for good measure, they had a system of absolute monarchy. So monarchy meaning things like the rulers were kings and queens. So we're going to draw a little crown. And here's our happy little monarch. And this monarch, this absolute ruler, somebody, absolute meaning they have total power over their subjects or the citizens. So I'll just draw a couple little citizens there. And we're going to write absolute. Again, absolute meaning total control monarch. And this is probably a refresher as well. The way they got their power was called divine right. And I'm running out of room here, so if you'll please just kind of draw an arrow. Divine right, to refresh your memory, means that they believed God gave them the power. So we're just going to write power from God. Now, since this was before the Enlightenment and in the Dark Ages or the Middle Ages, just lightly, very lightly shade that over to help us remember that. All right, now in the box just below it, let me see here, I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. So this box here, the first philosopher from the Enlightenment we're gonna look at, his name is Hobbes. And he's going to be different from the other Enlightenment thinkers. You'll see the other ones are more positive. Mr. Hobbes, thought that the people were inherently bad and they'll do whatever they can get away with. They need total control. So you might know some people that will do whatever they can get away with, and Hobbes would have said he called it. So here's our little devil person. A little pitchfork. So people weren't able to govern or rule themselves. They need a king. They need absolute monarchy. Now, he's going to be different, like I said, than most of them. Now, please take a look over here and write Locke. And Locke, I know you're all thinking, I remember that. We learned that in 8th grade U.S. history. Booyah! Hopefully you're thinking that. Locke believed that people had 3 basic natural rights, and those were, so please draw a 3, And then we're going to write life, liberty. Oops, there's my neighbor's dog. I don't know if you could hear that. And property. And that probably sounds familiar to you as well, because in Jefferson's Declaration of Independence, we have life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So he said we have these natural rights. We should be guaranteed these natural rights, but it's the government's job to protect them. So what we're going to do to show that is draw a shield. Kind of looks like Batman a little bit at first. So there's our shield, the government protecting. But in case yours doesn't look shieldy, go ahead and write government protection. And what I want you to think for lock to help you remember, think, let me switch pens here, lock up your natural basic rights. Lock up your natural, basic rights. And I'm going to go down over here, and for Hobbes, I meant to tell you, for Hobbes' little saying, we're going to say, Hobbes thinks people are slobs. Hobbes thinks people are slobs. Okay. And moving right along, just below lock, we're going to write the name Montesquieu. Montesquieu is Montesquieu. And Montesquieu came up with an idea called separation of powers to keep one group of people or one person from getting too much power. And we borrowed this idea in our Constitution and the principles of government by having the executive, legislative, and judicial branch. So we're going to write separation of powers. Now, a lot of people have trouble remembering this. It's not necessarily like dinner time conversation. You don't throw Montesquieu's name around all that often. So what we're going to do is think of 3 syllables, Montesquieu. So Montesquieu, 3 syllables, 3 branches of government. Montesquieu, everybody. Montesquieu, Montesquieu, Montesquieu. So we'll write it out too. And a syllable break, syllable break. And then I'm just going to write clap, clap, clap. Montesquieu, Montesquieu. Okay. Moving on to Rousseau. That's capital R-O-S-S-E-A-U. And go ahead, circle those S's. Those are nice curvy letters. And I'm going to draw a contract on some curvy paper. Not quite an S, but it's okay. And we have a government plus people equals social contract. There are things that the government and the people need to agree upon and follow. So for Rousseau, we're going to say Rousseau says sign below, because you sign a contract. So, circle those S's again. It might help you remember. Rousseau says sign below. Yes, he does. Okay, and here we go to you're going to study a few more people, but I just made some little icons for this, these 5. The last one we're going to look at is Voltaire. And for this, you're going to draw a big blocky letter V, like so, and draw a cross to symbolize religion, and then draw, to your best of your ability, a little Texas to represent state and government. And what Voltaire wanted was to separate state and religion, separation between church and state. And he did this because he thought he wanted this to lead to tolerance of others. That's just an arrow. So, and our little Voltaire saying is, Voltaire don't care about your religion. Voltaire don't care about your religion. All right, now flip to the back, flippy-poo, and please zoom out a little bit. Block off these 2 top squares together, and I'm going to make an icon that symbolizes the whole Enlightenment. So at the bottom here, please write the Enlightenment. And a little exclamation point. Now our symbol is going to be, let's see, first we're going to start with symbolizing knowledge and science and the printing press. So what I'm going to do here is draw kind of a funky E on its side, E for Enlightenment, like so. And then I'm going to shade mine in, you don't have to. This is kind of the cover of the book and the binding. And to make it look more booky, I'm going to draw some pages. And here we're going to write book. And then that symbolizes printing press, spreading knowledge.